I'm Al McFarland. Welcome to the conversation with Al McFarland. I'm glad to be here and glad to have you along. Fridays, we call the program the Healing Circle, usually conducted with my colleague and leader, Dr. Bravada Garrett Akinsanya, and colleagues. But today, we're going to continue with the series this week on Rondo Days. Rondo Days is coming up in a week from tomorrow. And we want to focus on and use the vibe of our theme of healing to sort of infuse that into this conversation. Healing is important. Healing is both personal and community. It's a family affair. And one of the things that brings healing to our community, I believe, is the spirit of Rondo. And we're going to get into all of that. I've got great guests today. Among them, Sister Michaela Griffin, Rondo born and raised, and she's executive director of Rondo Community Land Trust. Kadar Hickman, Rondo born and raised. He's an officer at the St. Paul Foundation, and hopefully both Floyd Smaller, founder of Rondo Days, born and raised in Rondo Community, and Gail Smaller, his son, currently Rondo Avenue Inc. board chair. That's a heck of a group, and I'm glad to be among them in their company and to have this conversation. But let me go to the dean. First of all, Floyd Smaller, brother Baba Floyd Smaller. So good to see you. And let me just greet you in the name of Insight News, and in the name of our community, in the name of the ancestors. And also those that will follow. Thank you for all that you have done, all that you're doing. Tell us about the spirit of Rondo that you represent and bring forward every year, every day.
So the spirit of Rondo that I thought I represented is what you're doing right now. It's people that are opening up and really finding the true truth of Rondo. Rondo was about bringing back the spirit of Rondo, our neighborhood, who housed and protected us, let us grow at our own pace, uh, taught us things that we otherwise wouldn't have known before. School didn't do everything for us. It was the neighborhood, it was the neighbors, it was some of the drunks on the street that had conversations for young people. They weren't picking on people in those days. They were trying to educate you, even with the little education they had. And the ones that was way out there was kind of leading us. And I found me some role models along the way. And my family was my first role model. And I put family above everything else. And my idea of family was Rondo. And my family was in Rondo as a leader in Rondo. And I took all of my cues from them and I tried to share that with the community as a whole. And I love Rondo. I mean, if you don't love your community, you can't sacrifice and work for it. Mm-hmm. What I did with Rondo and for Rondo was not easy for no person. I had a full schedule of jobs. I was teaching, coaching 3 sports, trying to be a community educator. I was trying to protect people. I was conversing with people, sitting down, getting kids out of jail, things of this nature. My job was full. I had an all-day job, except for a few stops at the Legion here and there where I would run into Kadar's dad and Byron Toussaint and some of the people I grew up with. And that made my life easy, so we come up with some way out conversations. And
yes,
it all led back to Rondo and how we protected, how we grew, and how we should give back. And I couldn't wait to give back if I got a chance. And I think I sacrificed my family, myself, and a whole lot of people for that. And I got angry at times because people wouldn't fight back and they had their own way of thinking about Rondo. But the thing that I thought most about when I looked at a lot of them was, you didn't stand up before. Now that somebody put themselves on the line for you, you half resent that or you're jealous of it, which don't make any sense. Here's where you, because my life wasn't easy because of it, but here's where you shake my hand and say, let's move on. Wherever you want to go with this, wherever you think you can go with this, we got your back. And the people that died early, those older people, we had to convince them that we knew what we were doing. But those people had my back. The school system had my back. And I could not thank them enough for what they gave us in order to carry on Rondo. They never asked me for any money. They just took it for granted that I was a decent person because I worked hard for the system and did everything I could do for kids. Black, white, Indian, Mexican, you name it. I always emphasize black because I let them know when we come out of those track blocks, we're always behind. You always got a 10, you always got a 10-foot head start on us and expect us to tie at the finish line. That's not fair to us as black people. It's not fair to bring a black person from the South, put him in all white or her in an all white school and say, now teach. That'd be like taking one white man or white woman and throwing them into an all black school and saying, now teach, and expect them to deal with things the same way we do. And the unfairness of this society has really made me an angry man. But my family and my sons, and Gil in particular, the way he's carrying on this program now, and I never knew as a young kid, he was sitting on the stairs watching his dad. And sometimes I'd be at 3 in the morning. I'd be in Santee, got to tearing down my basement with homemade basketball nets. I was able to halfway chest tied, but I could never whip my kids because they needed somewhere to play. And they had a conversation for me anyway. And I want to thank you for having me on, Al, because it's important that people know that black people are losing their history a mile a minute. When we don't make footsteps for younger people, there ain't going to be no trail for them to follow. I'm adamant about that. I get awfully mad when people try to shut our history down. Whether they black people shutting it down, white people shutting it down, or anybody else shutting it down. Because we need that trail for the people and the young people to follow. When you cut that trail off, they think they're starting all over again. That gives them a heck of a job. But if they got somebody to follow, it makes the job easier.
Well, we know that the society, the social structure will, and in fact has, again and again, cut the trail. I mean, the notion, the story of Rondo is about the trail being cut. Here, a vibrant community, lots of businesses, lots of homes, lots of connectivity destroyed, gutted by public policy, the city of St. Paul and the state highway system displacing all of this wealth of connectedness. And so that simply emphasizes the point of how critically important it is for us to be able to create and maintain and present our own narrative and to affect and change policy that supports our communities, our families. Floyd, let me ask you, first of all, to talk about your very beginning. When you were a kid, you're born in St. Paul, right? Born in St. Paul?
No, I was born in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and
Okay, but grew up in.
shortstop in St. Louis, Missouri for 2.5 months. That's another whole story. I'll tell you about that later. And then we came to Minnesota, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me and my family. And that's why I have such a love for St. Paul. And there are a lot of immigrants here from Mississippi, Arkansas, Texas, uh,
Everywhere.
Georgia. Oh yeah, I met a lot of them. Some of them followed me here, and I love it. And I love the South.
So
And
how
I
old
love
were you? How old were you when you came to Rondo?
7 years old and a half.
Okay. So describe the community that you walked into once your parents set you into your residence in St. Paul.
Okay, I'll describe it this way. My grandmother had come here earlier with a boyfriend because her husband had died. He was a big man. I never got a chance to meet him. I didn't hear a lot of stories about him, but he had his own company. He was about 6'3", and he was a tough man.
What
And
was
he
his
had
name?
Henry Steadman, and he was a straw boss. He had his own little company, and one of his guys got in trouble. He took a wheelbarrow full of money in change and dumped it on the courthouse floor, and they let his worker go. And
Wow.
another story about him where I could put his character together, he loved his dogs, and one of the dogs bit uh, my auntie, which is my mother's sister. My grandfather came home and said, "You mean I'm going to feed you, give you my bones, and you bite my daughter?" He shot him on the spot. So
Wow.
I said, some of that blood flows through all of the smaller family. And my son Gil, my youngest son and the biggest one I got, is sitting right here, right up with us now. And I love him daily. He just almost reads my mind. And you always think the oldest kids are going to be the ones. I mean, Brian was tough. He was by a different mother, of course, Jackie Johnson, and loved Brian, and Brian's in a home now where he's being pretty well taken care of because he ended up with a concussion playing football. He loved the game like his dad did.
Mhm.
Went to 4 different colleges, and he was a good athlete. I just hate he had to suffer through that, but it seems like somewhere in his life, there's always a sacrificial lamb somewhere.
Yeah.
And I tell him that off and on, but we all try to do what we can for Brian and keep him on a straight and narrow. And he really was a good kid and did a lot of things from Mechanic Arts High School. I got a chance to coach my son. I got a chance to coach Gail. I got a chance to coach Santee, Floyd II. And I thought I was going to have a chance to coach Trent, who was my son by Lorelei Ruffin. That was in between marriages, and I loved him. And he ended up getting in an accident and hit his head on the sidewalk down there on Hennepin Avenue, riding a bicycle in the wintertime. And about 2 months after that, we thought he was okay, but he died from it.
Mhm.
So I miss him very much. He was becoming my fishing partner. So I've had 4 sons I know. If there's any other out there, write me. I'll probably lie about it, but I'll go to the county with you or wherever else to get it straightened out. You know,
Well, that's
those,
bold. That's a bold statement,
Yes,
and that's an honorable statement. What an honorable
right.
statement
That's
to
right.
say, that I stand here
yeah.
and I stand up. That's wonderful. And so, uh, grade school, what was your junior high school and high school like when you started?
Grade,
There weren't that many Black people here.
no, grade school was for me. I just loved the girls. And my parents thought I was going to school to get an education. I was going to school to impress the girls. I started walking on my hands to get their attention, doing backflips and jumping across
Hmm.
driveways and everything. And everybody was doing something to
Mhm.
get the girls' attention. And they started calling me the marble pimp. I always kept a pocket full of shiny marbles in my pocket. And I got thrown out of class a lot because they'd come out of my pocket and roll on the floor. And the teachers would throw me out probably every other day when the weather was warm. And I kept my marbles because that was part of my, do you want a marble? Do you want that? Give me a chance to talk to the girls. And girls are the motivator, and I think they're a motivator in life right now. Everybody won't admit it like they're supposed to, but that was one of my things that really kept me going and kept me in the right track
Mhm.
was ladies.
Mhm. High school and college. How did you
High school,
decide to become a teacher?
high school, I started out at Marshall High School, and I was intending to go to mechanic arts. Those were all the schools I wanted to go to was
Mhm.
mechanic arts. We had all I only heard about, Millsap would tell me the great stories about athletes that had been there before, like Harry Ballard and Lee Ballard, and they were in the Golden Gloves, and they were football players and track people. And Stroggins, they were some of the fastest guys in. They was always running against Dick Blakely, and I started getting all that in my head. Dick Blakely, Elmer Lewis, Leo Lewis, All American, All Pro for years. Ended up being one of my heroes. We ended up being family members. My brother married into his family, had some lovely kids. In fact, two of his daughters wrote some books for child books for Michelle and Obama. I
Mm.
got pictures of them in the White House with them. So that smaller family gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And at this point, I'm the oldest living member that I know in my
Mhm.
family. And I'm proud of that, but I was afraid of that when I was young in high school and grade school because it looked like I was going to be the recipient of something I didn't want. I wanted to be a professional football player. I wanted to be able to drive me a convertible car, have a lot of money, and that was the girls again. And Yeah, that was my dream. Well, that dream was shattered. Before I know it, I was married at 21. Next thing I know, I was married again at 24. So all of that stuff, I had to throw that out the window. I had to get down to the real world, and that real world was St. Paul, Minnesota. It was my family arrived here. Getting back to the first question you asked me, they had cobblestone streets, streetcar tracks. Streetcars would run. I like the clickety clack of that. And I'd go to sleep on that by night sometimes. And I remember when we came here on the train and wondering where we were going to end up. We ended up in Minnesota, getting off the train and coming through that depot down there. One of those days I called, it was hazy with the sun barely peeking through. I always called it a crazy hazy day. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, this is a crazy hazy day. This is a beautiful, beautiful place. I hope we never leave here. And she was holding my hand. She said, we'll see. We'll see. I said, I've never seen a place this clean before. And the love hit me then. I fell in love with Minnesota. And it started with its cleanliness and the quietness and um, the atmosphere, the environment. And I was 7.5 years old, and that struck me till this day. And I tell that same story to everybody. And I fell in love with Minnesota. I fell in love with the people in Minnesota. Yeah, we had fist fights, everything, and all that stuff. I had a lot of friends in Minneapolis, had some good friends over here. You were Bogart and all those guys, man. We ran around together from time to time. Edgar Jackson said we were baseball. That bass drum we play in the parades and stuff, Ames Lodge and the old Elks here together, man, we'd be jamming, tearing down the town, man. After the Aquatennial parade, we'd meet over there in the old farmers market. Now it's gonna be a black thing after the farmers market. We go to there and we just act up something terrible. So I want to get you in on that. You asked me the question. Sometimes it takes me a long time to give you the answer, but I have
That's
a lot.
right.
That's right.
A lot to say. Yeah. Dad would say going around the Billy Goat's horn to get to the point.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
Yeah.
Kedar, jump on in here. Let's talk about, because you're the legacy family as well. So good to see you.
Good to see you, good brother.
And compliments to you for all the work that you're doing, all the work you're putting in.
Appreciate it.
And
Appreciate it.
I think you represent what those of the generation that preceded you hoped for and prayed for. I would say that you and Michaela are the prayer that we
Much appreciated.
offered, and you are the manifestation, reflection, and the product, and the venue of the prayers of the people. So when you think about Rondo and think about your family, what comes to mind? And all of us in the course of this conversation, making the invitation, meaning invite people to show up and to come to and tell them to share this conversation on social media so that we get this energy going that supports the wonderful activity of being together in community that Rondo represents for Rondo Days. Hey, Gail.
Hey,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kedar.
Wow. First of all, thank you, Brother McFarland and Brother Gail, for just inviting me into the community space. So first, there's gratitude for that, and then just Mr. Smaller, thank you. Wow.
thank you guys for giving me the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I could be on this conversation for weeks.
Well, that's what we're gonna do. This is the beginning. This is the beginning, and we just setting something in motion now that's gonna keep going because this cannot stop. Yeah,
no doubt. So definitely in calling on the eternal that is that manifests for many people in many different ways. I say thank you to the eternal, which manifests in this moment in acknowledging my mother and my father, Patricia Ellen Fraser Hickman, and Robert Pickton Hickman, uh, Bobby, Kofi, for those who know him in his growth and his development in his life, for those who are North Siders and South Siders who know the Frazier family,
Hmm.
um, for the communities my mother grew up in, and who were attendees and a part of our community family, even here in our home, as my mother was a entrepreneur for 45 years, offering quality early child development, and sent us on into the school district so eventually we could meet a Mr. Smaller to help us develop our athletic and our community and our, just our confidence to take our next steps into the world. I think about, again, with my dad as one of the ushers in the community of Inner City Youth League. Um, I think about the Summit University Free Press.
Hmm.
How our community talks about who we are. That's the spirit of Rondo that became the Summit University community, that and its communities within. Because there is this narrative that that road that came in somehow destroyed us as a people, and I'm looking at 5 people right now that are not destroyed, that are not broken, who in fact, Brother L, are speaking about the healing that needs to happen in Rondo, that our good brother and elder Smaller helped to initiate our remembrance of the street and what the street represented to us as a community of Black people in St. Paul, right? And then there was this shift. There was a new street, but we're still the same people. You dig
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So a new generation developed on Selby.
Mm.
We continued to have our businesses. We continued to develop our organizations. We weren't crushed, you know, dispersed. Well, what does that mean? Now we're in greater space to be able to do even more Rondo Summit University kinds of things, because that's what we are the manifestation of in this generation, right? And we got the leaders are right with us inside of our shops and our houses right now. You
Yes.
know, the leaders of our legacy organizations were born and raised and bred or mentored somehow by this community, and they stand in leadership. Sister Mikeia, right there.
Thank you.
Benny Roberts, right there. Johnny Allen, right there.
Yes.
You feel me? So, I mean, there's just I so much, so much to share that I look forward to it, and again, yeah, that's just the start of it. That's
That's a
just the
start.
start of
That's
it.
a
Yeah.
great start. And so what taking from this, Brother Kadar, is perspective is everything. Point of view.
Yes.
And at some point in time, we have to remember and remind
Mm-hmm.
ourselves that our point of view is ours. And
Absolutely.
we have both the right and the obligation and the duty to speak our truth to
Right.
ourselves and to the universe. That we
Yes.
are reflections of the Creator, and that where we are right now is where we're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and where we are supposed to be is on our way to where we're going, right? And where we're going is a good place, a new place, a place that is one that comes out of our legacy, our history, our creation, our sense of sovereignty, our sense of the divine within us and around us. And that we simply, as Brother Floyd was saying, and as you were saying about Brother Floyd's comments, need to keep the
Yes.
memory of where we are, who we are, whose we are, and keep working. Uh, uh, Micaiah, jump in here. And then I'm going to go to Brother Gale.
I thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. I feel like, I'm sitting among some giants, Mr. Smaller. Thank you for trying to let me be on the track team at St. Paul. I was not proficient enough to do it, but I appreciate that. Your mentorship and your leadership as well. And Mr. McFarland, I mean, you've been at this for such a long time. And I'm so blessed and privileged to have been a community baby here in Rondo. My family came up from Port Gibson, Mississippi in the 40s, and they actually drove up and stopped and asked some white people and white couple in Highland, where do the colored people stay? And they were directed to Rondo. They were
Yeah.
directed to Rondo. They were embraced in this community. And then, my last Port Gibson, 13 brothers and sisters down there, a lot of them came here, including my grandmother. So it's just been, I think, being embraced by the community growing up. Mr. Tiger Jack used to fix us breakfast in the morning sometimes because I used to catch our bus right on the corner of Dale and St. Anthony. And, just my home church, Mount Olivet Baptist Church, it just being embraced in this community. If you couldn't tell me that we didn't have anything, I really thought I was
We
pretty.
have a lot. You really
Oh yeah.
We
Oh,
had
yeah.
a lot. And with our, Interstate Youth League. Oh, okay. So your dad was just such an important figure in my life. Your sister. It's just all of the interconnectedness. Um, and I grew up on my grandmother's house was actually on St. Anthony Avenue, facing the freeway. You didn't think about it at the time. Um, and when I tell you, just growing up, seeing people thrive and, having culture, which is important, being connected to my Blackness and being proud of that is something that I grew up with. And I felt like I didn't really have a lot of barriers in my life because of that. Because I was, well, first of all, I always also tell people, look, I was an equal opportunity butt whooping by anybody at the community. And I would get told on, all the time if I wasn't doing something I wasn't,
Mhm.
it didn't matter. Because, at the helm of my Auntie Rosie, who was one of the biggest, I don't know, features in my life. Her and my uncle who moved up here are just so amazing, and my grandmother and my other aunts and uncles who, I used to truck across I have family lived on Marshall, Dayton, Concordia, Rondo, St. Anthony,
Mhm. Yep.
Central, all within. I just remember running around as a kid. I wouldn't have sometimes just running around back and forth, being able to be embraced in the community. And again, like I said, if I wasn't doing something I wasn't supposed to do, I was cool. And I'd be like, please don't tell my mama. um,
Yeah. See. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. See.
don't tell my
Yeah.
mama.
Yeah. See, that doesn't sound like destruction to me. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? That
Right.
sounds like it sounds like you know it's what is that saying? I think it's a historic or a cultural Mexican saying. But if I'm wrong, please community let me know. But it speaks to in part about being a seed. When it talks about they tried to bury us but
Yep.
didn't know we were seeds. Is
Mhm.
they just unleashed.
What
They
a good
unleashed
point.
another level of the power of who we were as a community. Because for a long time we couldn't be living on some of the streets Makia just named.
That's
Mhm.
right.
You feel what I'm saying? So now we it's that St. Kelfer moment. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And let's remember Rondo, not for the street, but for who we are.
it's
Ah,
people. It's
It's
people.
us. It's
Mm.
us.
And we have,
And for the street.
yes,
You did? And
Yeah.
for the street, because there were businesses on there, which means that
yes,
there are models.
yes.
mhm.
You see what I'm saying? That there are models of opportunity. So it tells us we don't have to recreate the wheel, we just have to reignite it.
Thank
And
you.
I always like to thank you. Could I agree? We have already lived the answers we seek. Our our community, Black people in general, regardless, we are very much innovators. We come up with a lot. Um, I, And we know, I mean, I think about the work that I do around just cooperative, sharing in things. I mean, we
Mhm.
have such a fun society. We had the first Black credit union here. We had the cooperative credit union. We had the first cooperative, grocery store. We had thriving businesses, and when people did get displaced and continue to get displaced, we still put down roots here in this community, and we were still a welcoming place where people were coming. If you were Black, you either come here to Rondo or you would be maybe on north side. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
I love my north side people too. But I did go across the river.
Word up. Yeah.
I want to,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to also hit that corner when we got out of school on Central, you hit that corner on Lexington and you hit that corner, and like going to Mrs. Fletcher's, going to my doctor's office here, down to the NAACP office. I mean, that's how I got one of my first jobs after I
Urban League. Yeah.
Urban
That's
League when I
right.
came back here from college. And so, like the Rainbow Theater, remember, there was just so much liveliness in the community as it stood. And we also had a lot of thriving home-based businesses.
No doubt. My mother's was one.
Yeah.
Let me bring Gail in. Gail, first of all, thank you for all that you're doing to help coordinate and to pull this together. Thank you for curating today's show and yesterday's and the day before. What you've done is wonderful, and what you do all the time is wonderful. Floyd, you got to be proud. You got to be proud. I told Gail,
busting out all over.
I told Gail this morning. He was on the show with me a couple years ago, maybe longer, but in the studio at KFAI. He didn't know this, but I told him, he was so clear, so powerful, so insightful, so complete in his delivery of his ideas that people called me and told me, asked me, who was that guy? Who is he? Where is he? And so I say that to publicly acknowledge the energy and genius you bring to your work. And I say that compliment, and I want to share that compliment too with Brother Kadar and Sister, is it Makia? Makia. Because all of you.
You can call me Kiki because that's what everyone else in the neighborhood calls.
There you go.
And Kadar, when I'm hearing you, I'm seeing Bobby. I mean,
there he is.
Yeah, I'm seeing him. I'm seeing him. I'm feeling him.
And there's Patty right there.
And I'm feeling Patty, feeling your mom, and feeling your sister.
Yes.
So all of this is rich. But Gail, jump in, man. Just first of all, let's make sure that as many times as we can, we invite people, date, time, and place to Rondo Days. Let's not forget that.
Yes. So make sure that you show up next Saturday, not this Saturday, but Saturday, July 19th. It's going to be an amazing event from 12 to 7 with a senior brunch from 11 to 1 o'clock. So we hope to see all the people who are a part of Rondo, who love Rondo, who just want to see what Rondo does. You're all invited. We have an amazing kids zone that Sister Mercedes, one of the young leaders in the community, organized for us last year. That was the bomb. We got her a bigger space because we're anticipating more kids this year. So we're really excited about it.
Community, what does it mean to you, Gail? Let's talk about your sense of being, who you are, where you are, and the why of the work you do.
So first, Mr. McFarland, before I get into that, I would just like to acknowledge that, a lot of times it's rare that for myself, I get the opportunity to sit on a call or in a space with 4 people that I look at as my heroes. And a lot of times we don't acknowledge our peers as our heroes. And I just want to acknowledge you and my father as heroes. You were my inspiration for creating the Minneapolis Liberator, wanting to follow in your steps in the delivery that you brought messages to the community with. Your ability to articulate at the Lucille's Kitchen forums and pull things out. Acknowledge you as a leader for publication and dissemination of information within our community.
Yes.
Brother Kadar, a lot of people don't understand, he's my hero because of the sacrifice I've watched this brother make. A lot of, if you look at him, you can see that he's an artist. He's a major artist, major influencer in the hip hop community. But watching his brother sacrifice his passion and his art to step into a role that was so critical to be able to move money to our community, help empower young leaders. I just want you to know, Brother Kadar, that I honor you for that, brother, and you are one of my heroes for making that sacrifice. And I've been watching you for a really long time, and the sister Makia. And I know people don't really like to talk about themselves, so I'm going to make sure that the world knows who they're experiencing. This sister, I haven't known her for 2 snaps or a minute. Last year, when we were trying to bring Rondo back and we couldn't really find support, a lot of community people were trying to line their own pockets and do other things and create division. This sister stepped up in the 12th hour and she supported us with her own finances to make sure that we could have an amazing event, sister. And I'm almost tearing up for what you did for us.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for that, sis, because you gave us the ignition to be able to continue to build something that will be extremely amazing. And I just want to honor you for what you did for us. And for this man right here, keeping that legacy alive, And I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional.
Oh, okay.
No, it's real.
That was amazing. And this dude right here, man, I don't got nothing to say about him. He just over here bothering eating up all my cantaloupe and my water.
And touch it yet, but I'm going.
But in regards to community, Mr. McFarland, from the time that could walk and could talk, this guy was my hero. I looked up to him. I wanted to dress like him. I wanted to walk like him. I wanted to be able to influence the world like he did. I wanted to be able to be honest and operate with integrity and put the community before myself because of the love that I had behind me that was supporting me, that allowed me to give what I could give. Being a North Sider, going to Central, building St. Paul relationships, growing up as a little kid, running around in the neighborhood at Rondo every summer with all of my plethora of cousins. It showed me that we have a type of love amongst ourselves that is powerful, that can overcome anything. And me and my dad had went to an event and they were calling it a Rondo Memorial event. And in my brain, I had to stop from rushing the stage and tearing down the stage because memorials are for things that are dead. Rondo's not dead. And if you were at Rondo Days last year, you saw that. You saw the ancestors. I saw Kadar's parents in the park. I saw my grandparents in the park.
No doubt.
You could feel the spirit, the presence. I seen thugs walking across the street with mead mugs, and as soon as they crossed that street, they started smiling because they seen their grandma, they seen their nieces, and they seen their nephews. And that's what my mission is. My mission is to keep my dad's vision alive and create a safe space that's entertainment for all the Rondo people that have been dispersed to be able to come back and engage with each other, have a pleasant experience with each other, wrap their arms around each other and see people that haven't seen in 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years.
It felt good to live in our community.
Yes.
Last year, and not be worried about what folks were saying about that.
Right. So thank you, Gail, for all of your work and all you've done to get this, to make sure that we still have connection with Rondo Days. It is one of the biggest, family reunions that happen in Rondo. I was in Ireland, and someone asked, when is Rondo Days? Another black person who I was like, you from Rondo? They lived in Ireland. They were coming back to make sure that they were here to participate in Rondo Days.
So let's
Can I say this very quickly? And I shared this.
Let me say that that's what I want you guys to do is just jump in and talk. Don't wait on me. Follow the spirit. So go ahead, Kadar. Go ahead.
So Gail, I texted.
Oh man, hey Kadar, is that at your house? Because I'm coming to get it back.
So I showed it to your dad, but I texted you this years ago.
Yeah,
this
man.
is from the first Rondo Days.
Yeah, man.
I got a few of them in my attic.
And remember how Dad had Xanadu, Mr. Smaller. So we used to sell the soda. So it was like it only made sense
Yeah.
Let's have these little frisbees at the Rondo Days thing. So I just wanted to make sure that you saw this again.
Yeah, man, that's how.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta
let's put this on a T-shirt and a tote bag. You dig?
Yes.
You know, and then we'll support our orgs. We'll support
Yes.
our orgs through the proceeds from that T-shirt. How about that?
I
I
like
love
that. I'll go in.
Yeah.
And
You know,
Gil,
we'll just change up some of the language on it.
You guys don't know what you've done for me today. I've lived for 45 years for this moment.
oh,
That I would see a community come together as a whole people and not partial. People is out here pimping the community and getting what they can get out of the community rather than giving back to it and making it grow for everyone. Everyone needs to be able to enjoy Rondo Days and make it their days because they're going to have that experience. If they've had that experience, they need to share it with themselves, with their kids, and share it with Rondo, the people that need it. We got our street name back. When they take your street, it's like taking your shoes and your coat off your back. They're telling you don't count no more.
yeah.
So with my stupid effort that I thought I could make a difference, I helped get Rondo's name back. And that will go down in my personal book. But I say thank all of you that supported me and my family and all the people that worked for Rondo. But we had a lot of good people work for Rondo, and we had some Robin Hood thieves that worked for Rondo, and I know who all of them are. And someone can hide under a rock, we'll let you stay there. But the people that stood up and fought and shared, I want you to be the first ones to get in front of that camera and let people know who you are, what you are, and you're willing to stand up and fight for your community. Everybody's got a community in this country but us. Italians, Jews, Polacks, Germans. You go out to Noka, Germans have German celebrations every year. Soon as black folks all over the country start trying to get a celebration, somebody wants to end it.
Well, they haven't ended this one. They're
Thank
not
you.
going to be able
Right.
to.
Right.
Not magical
Not with
people
the help.
around us.
Not
man.
with the help.
Yes, we do.
Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is a powerful group that also connects with other powerful groups. We don't want them straw groups. We don't need those people that are not about loving their community and sharing. My family's been living in Minneapolis for the last 57 years. A lot of people didn't know that. I was born in Pine Bluff, raised in St. Paul, love it to death. And I've been in Minneapolis for 57 years, and I can't say nothing bad about it.
Hickman, your family's been around 100 years, right?
Yeah.
Mom's side of the family. We came in the 1880s, the late 1880s, and as a part of the cadre and the cohort of families that came up from Kentucky into northern Minnesota. Yep, and then Dad's side of the family, we're several generations deep here in St. Paul.
Y'all came in the 1880s?
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah,
part of
mom's
the-
side. Yeah. So we're deep. You know,
Mr.
we're deep.
McFarland, I gotta slip something in, man, because a lot of people are gonna be tuning in and watching this show online because we haven't told anybody who the artists are this year. So I told
Exactly.
no.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Log on to the show because we're bringing it out with you, Mr. McFarland. So
Let's
this
do it.
year, the board, they were like, Gail, man, you know, last year was the bomb. You know, you have real odd musical taste, man, but we're going to let you dig in your crates and pick the artists this year. So we're bringing Brand Nubians.
Yeah. Oh.
So we're
Now,
bringing
can I
Brand
ask you
Nubians.
this real quick?
Yeah.
Is it all? It's all a Brand Nubian?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're bringing Brand Nubians, and then for the female energy, we're bringing a sister named Moni Love.
Oh.
Well, you heard it first here. You heard it first right here. Yeah.
Oh,
Man.
oh my God.
Okay. So, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All the things.
That's love, Gail. You
That is love.
know. That's
Well, man, you know, I figured, man,
that's the green B-boy
B-boys would
saying that
appreciate
too.
it, man. I done
Yeah,
it
that's the
a
green
little
B-boy,
bit
y'all.
Kadar for that
No
one, man.
doubt.
So.
Yeah, word up. Yeah, that's because you may not see me in the crowd,
Right.
going like that, but
Right.
you've seen it officially. You've seen
Yeah.
Kedar doing his thing. Word up.
And it's free to the community.
Yeah.
Everybody can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you all to meditate, if you would, and reflect on this whole idea of community. And Brother Floyd, I so appreciate you indicating that you've got a 50-year presence here, and Kedar, your family, 50, 100, almost 100 years. Michaela, you can talk about your
Just
family legacy as well.
Yeah.
But the question becomes, and I want you all to speak about our role, our mission in building a future. I believe our goal, our work, is to be the authors of a future in which we win.
Thank you.
And that nobody's going to hand it to us. We simply must step up and do the work. So I'm going to stop there and get your feelings, your thoughts on how do we do that? Does that make sense to you? Michaela, let me start with you first of all, and you can take this anywhere you want to.
Awesome. I'll tell you this. I had the privilege of don't let this youthful face fool you. I'm old. Don't say I don't look
Hey,
youthful.
girl, you're right. You can still run.
I spent close to I'll say 25 years of my career in some really significant as a developer, whether it's a community developer in affordable housing or whether that's for-profit development, spanning states. And so when I decided to come back and do community work, and I've always called myself a silent activist. I'm always, no matter what, I'm doing what I can to hire from the community. If they're not from this community, then they're Black people. If they're not Black people, then it's women, and then it's other minorities. That is my own personal ethos around the way that I want to work as a person, because I believe in solidarity, and I believe in, if I've got $1, the community's got 99 cents, and that's just the way that we are. But I came on as the new executive director of Rondo Community Land Trust 3.5 years ago, and it's a 33-year-old organization. And I remember hitting the corner on Selby again, and I didn't realize how much things had changed. You're just not thinking about it. And I was like, oh no, we will not slide into that good night. We're not sliding into the good night. I remember also meeting with Kedar the first few weeks in this role, and I was like, Kedar, I've got a plan. I don't. Here are the things. Help me figure out how to articulate it. But so Kadar's provided a lot of mentorship in terms, not only, first of all, mentorship and support, because we really needed it. I basically took over a kind of a 28-year startup, and that's all right. But we got to work, and it was that first initial investment that Kedar was able to help us secure with in his role. That allow, and his, more importantly, the mentorship to be able to help me click the pieces in place to get out there and create this very big vision around reclaiming space as a community land trust, and really making this about community and holding assets for community. And the role that we can, and the big role that we can play. So one, it is the ethos and I always tell people, they don't even understand what we bled for to have community land trust. That came out of our suffering through the civil rights movement. And a lot of people don't know that. And it became very narrowly focused into this affordable housing thing, but that's not what it was. That was not its purpose. And when we think about the Rondo community and how interdependent we were, how cooperative we were, how we were together as a community, there's a way for us to have a connectedness, enterprise, and to really have joy and be reconnected. I'm really just building off and standing on the shoulders some high shoulders and some very big shoes to fill. But I just said, you know what? We're going to stabilize an enterprise. That was the, first few things. And again, if it weren't for these conversations with Kadar about who's walking across the burning sand and, some other things to be able to get my mind right. And, I was like, we can combine what the intent of a community land trust was about upward economic mobility for Black people.
In perpetuity.
And forever, yes, in perpetuity. And that I know whose I am. I know where I came from. I know what my community was and could be. And I was like, oh no, mm-mm. So we are, our goal is to reimagine, first of all, stabilize, because we got a lot of folks that need support here, and we're trying to do all of those things. But then, reimagine. And so we are reclaiming Selby Avenue between Lexington and Dale, from Dale to 94. For right now, is the Rondo African American Arts and Cultural District. Our work is around shared ownership, solidarity, democratic. But we need to own ourselves and our labor, and arts and culture as a form of pride and healing and economic growth. So, we work closely with, Harry P. Brown and others. And so we're redeveloping, we are purchasing, we are supporting folks. We have been able to do a lot of policy work around, if you buy a community land trust home, you're going to get tax breaks, property tax breaks. If we have been able to help folks with our, right to return to Rondo, where, we're doing our best to raise money to give you money to come back to the community, helping folks stay in the community. And then, we purchased E&J Cleaners because it was a Black business that we didn't, at the very least, we didn't want the building to go anywhere.
Right.
When Mr. Thank God, Mr. Wright and Miss Stephanie, when they were retiring, I approached them and I was like, can we do what we can to keep Golden Time here? Now Golden Time's reopened in 2 locations in the community, as restaurant and bar, and all living on the legacy of those things. But, it's 40 jobs for the community.
Awesome. Awesome.
And, if I could jump in right in there, that's the evidence of the big picture. That's the evidence, Mr. Smaller, of what you're talking about that we're working towards. Because we can have the castle in the sky visions, but if we don't create some sort of a connecting mechanism and mechanisms to that dream, then it will be to that vision, then it will become a dream.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
so we have to connect to that. So when we talk about how we drive forward, one is recognizing, yes, we've been traumatized, we've been hurt, but we have to continue to talk about Rondo healing.
Yes.
Okay. And that is, my brother one of my other brothers always talks about knowledge itself is the road for the lost sheep. You feel what I'm saying? So we have to get back into that deeper cultural knowledge of ourselves, our economic knowledge of ourselves, and our industrious knowledge of ourselves. Okay. Because that's where we build our organizations, and don't just have organizations just for organization's sake, but organizations that are constructed and designed like Rondo Community Land Trust to be able to offer a whole spectrum of access to housing where there were no roads. You feel what I'm saying? And with our organizations that help people get to the places that are Rondo Community Land Trust doors. Okay, that place that still serves our seniors, that is Hallie Q. Brown. So when families are ready to keep their assets in community, that they have mechanisms to do that we have education mechanisms. I'm going to go on a vision journey here because I see time may be running down too. But I want to plant a seed with us, Rondo community and larger Black community of the Twin Cities and of Minnesota, to think about a Job Corps site that now sits dormant, in the opportunity to try and figure out what it would take to secure that site and create an innovation space
Yep.
for community,
Mhm.
large scale,
Yep.
or create a regional future forward Black college and university
Wow.
regionally.
Whoa.
So I want to plant that seed, community. As a matter of fact, I want to challenge us as a community foundation. So let's be very clear. I didn't walk into a foundation not knowing what a foundation was or is. I come from a family foundation and I come from a community foundation. You feel what I'm saying? That's who we are. Let's build this endowment. Gail knows what I'm talking about. Let's
You know
get this
exactly.
endowment built. Let's understand and recognize who all the assets are, the coin assets, but the even greater, the connection to who we are as people. Let's continue to refine us, grow us, sustain us in perpetuity,
And
right? In all of that, regeneratively, in love, in peace, in harmony, with that umoja, with that ujima, with that ujama, with that kujichagulia, with that kaumba, with all of it, because that's us. That's Rondo. Rondo doesn't just live in St. Paul, y'all. It's us.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's
And
the
Mr.
people.
Let me
I would
share
say-
something with you all. You know, one of the things we'll be doing with this show is posting it later today or the weekend on a site called Narrative. Anybody familiar with Narrative? Narrative with a K. Check it out. KNARRATIV. Word narrative with the K in front of it. And within Narrative is a community called Nubia with a K as well. But it's a group of people that are just like each of us, that we all are part of already. So I'm going to invite you all to connect and become part of the Nubia experience. And the idea is that we have the opportunity and the duty to build the new pyramid. The
Yeah.
pyramid
Mm.
is something that will be there forever, right?
Mhm.
And the new pyramid is intellectual, spiritual, social. It's a new formation, but it's about how we create a governance structure between us and among us that, as you say, reimagines what reality, what the world, and what the future is. But it begins with what we do right now, right here. Brother Gail, let me ask you to sort of bring us to a close by, again, summarizing, but extending the invitation.
Yes. So to the question that you wrapped it up with is with us with community, it's about staying present, it's about being seen, it's about letting the past generations and the future generations see us present and see us being honored. And I can show you about community better than I can tell you. Next Saturday, July
Yes.
19th at the Martin Luther
Yes.
King Center.
Yes.
Next Saturday, Rondo Days 2025. Well, listen,
Yeah.
Sister KK, thank you so much. Brother Kadar, thank you so much. Gail, thank you.
Appreciate
1,000 thanks.
Mhm.
And Elder Baba Floyd Smaller Jr., sir, brother, my elder, my leader, I thank you. I thank you all.
Thank you,
Everybody,
Mr.
show up.
Thank you.
Show up. I'm Al McFarland.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
All
Thank
Right.
you.
Hotel.